Bijan Robinson, Jaxon Smith-Njigba, both signed their rookie contracts. Neither one's going to be, behind schedule. They're both going to be ready to rumble ASAP. Those are all good things. We're going to be talking about that and more. Taking your phone calls. We will answer phone calls. We will open the phone lines. We will be doing it live here on the Fantasy Football Show. File on in. Appreciate you being here. The Fantasy Football Show begins right now.
The FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern.
File on in. We've got a lot to discuss, like always, but this one's positive. There's no negative news right now floating around news wires. We're here to talk about the great Bijan Robinson, who just inked his rookie contract, which is fantastic news because that means there's no delay in getting him in and getting him ready and prep for the 2023 NFL season. There's no rumblings about this guy not playing the slot wide receiver position a lot because he's not used to the offense. He's ready to rumble. Falcons signed number 8 overall pick Bijan Robinson to a 4-year, $21.96 million contract. As the case, all 4 first-round contracts, Robinson's deal includes a 5th-year fully guaranteed team option. The fully guaranteed team option change has made teams less likely to exercise the 5th-year option. That's kind of a new thing. Bijan, that will be 4 years from now. Dude's going to get some sort of extension by then. Of that, I have no doubt. This is the magical man at the running back position. Go forward in the NFL. And I'm fully confident that this guy we're going to see for at least the top level 4 to 6 year shelf life of the NFL running back in today's NFL. I think this is a guy that gets that second deal. This is a guy that dips into that at least the 2 years after the 4 years that he plays. So this is a 4 to 6 year guy for sure. And Bijan is going to have a magnificent rookie season. So excited to see him get inked early and not have this thing drag out. That's fantastic news. On another front similar, this man, JSN, number 20 overall pick, Jaxon Smith-Njigba, signed a 4-year contract with a 5th-year option. Smith figures to be a big part of Seattle's offense from the jump, boosting Geno Smith's fantasy value and probably eating into targets for DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett to some extent. This is a tough, we go over this one a lot. It's tough to know. Lockett also got his part of his contract restructured and moved to the front to get, sort of a bonus to free up Seattle. So Lockett's still in the picture. He's not getting traded. He's not, so he's there. Lockett's not going away. This is a hard situation for me to envision working out to the degree a lot of people have it working out. That's all I'll say. It doesn't mean that JSN can't be a target hog, catch a lot of short passes, do very well one game, kind of be absent the next game, but at the end of the year be inconsistently productive to where he pulls at 1,000 yards easily. He has 7 or 8 touchdowns. He has a great amount of receptions at the end of the year because he's playing slot and he's kind of the least focused on wide receiver from the jump. And then we'll see what happens as he starts gaining the attention of defenses and the respect of defenses, and maybe Lockett gets freed up. But all that is going to evolve, as the season progresses. So I like JSN. He's a major talent. If there was a wide receiver I'm going to look at from this top 4 group, because my favorites are Mingo downstream. My favorites are Hyatt downstream, Josh Downs, Tank Dell. Not that I draft any of those guys above these guys. And I do love Zay Flowers. But of these 4 wide receivers, it does feel like JSN does have an opening to massive volume and the number 1 role in his offense through DK, through Lockett. I don't think DK is as well-rounded a wide receiver. I don't think DK is a dominant wide receiver on all fronts, in all facets of the game to hold back JSN if JSN does turn out to be the real deal that a lot of people think he could be. And I'm not writing off the idea of him becoming that. So I don't think the path to being the number 1 wide receiver in Seattle is as hard to break through and grab, but I don't know that it happens in year one, or at least in the beginning part of the year. Maybe at some point from midseason on or a little later, he does start to look like a dominant wide receiver one for his team. But it could take a while because he's going to be used in a way that DK and Lockett are still out there. And I don't know that JSN's going to he's just not going to light, I think, the league up by storm. You never know, though. You never know. He's a talented route runner. Keep in mind, JSN had one of the best college seasons ever in the history of college football. And he did so with Olave and Garrett Wilson both on his team, both in his lineup. He was in the lineup with both of them, all three in the lineup at the same time. And JSN outperformed both Olave and Garrett Wilson. So you could say that JSN's got way more upside than people are even, imagining. And that could be the case. I'm not going to discount that. I'm not going to write that off. I don't think he's a bust by any means. I'm not saying anything of the sort. It's hard to imagine with Geno Smith leading the way that there's enough footballs to go around to feed all three of the wide receivers. So something's got to give. Inconsistency's got to probably be present during the rookie season at least. But anything can happen, and I'm certainly going to be here for it. I'm certainly going to be cheering on JSN, and I fully hope, and I totally hope that he does get a shot to totally prove anybody that's even questioning it wrong, like myself. I hope. I'll be rooting for it. I'm not against it. I'm not rooting against it. I'm not calling him a bust. He's an absolute monster. I like him a lot. But Flowers is a guy I'm excited about. He's going to be the number one wide receiver for his offense. It's a maybe you could say it's an equal situation in that the volume he gets as the number one will equate it easily to the volume JSN will get as the number 2-3 in his offense to kick off the season with Geno Smith passing. I mean, Seattle's going to run the ball a ton, so I don't fully know if I feel like this is going to be one of those situations where Flowers can't get more volume than JSN in JSN's situation, if you know what I mean. So we'll have to see how it plays out, but I definitely love Flowers. Flowers is such a talented wide receiver. I don't think, similar to how people, I don't believe, give JSN enough credit, and I say that a lot, even though I say I'm cautiously optimistic about his volume. I all the time say that. I say that all the time. But what I say even more frequently is that I don't think people value Flowers' skill set and his ability to be the most talented wide receiver in this draft class. I don't think people value that enough. I don't think people see it. I think people see him as a small guy. He's in an okay situation, and he's not going to flourish. He's just going to be Hollywood Brown. This kid has the potential, the raw ability to be the next Antonio Brown. He really does. Zay Flowers is a monster. He put on a ton of weight, beefed up about, I think, 7 to 10 pounds. And is just ripped and ready to go. Great attitude, hard worker. Zay Flowers is an amazing route runner. He's shifty. In today's NFL, you can't contain him. You can't stop him. You can't get a hand on him. He's going to be constantly wide open with more than an arm's distance of space. Whenever he's past 5-6 yards, he's just going to be free, open, free. The question will be, can Lamar get him the football accurately? We'll find out. But the closer he is to Lamar, the more accurate Lamar could probably be, right? And so if Flowers is that shifty, can't touch, can't guard, slippery guy that's sliding all around the in between the line of scrimmage and about 10 yards out, all over the field, across the middle, this guy might get accurate passes thrown to him, even from people that are skeptical of the accuracy of Lamar, which I think sometimes is not a fair assessment of Lamar because Lamar hasn't had weapons. They keep taking them away. And so I'm excited about what's going to happen in Baltimore, and I'm excited about what's going to happen in Seattle. And then we got the running back situation. Of course, we're not talking about that yet today unless somebody calls and talks about it. But Bijan, JSN, I'd love to know what you guys in the chat think. If you could give me a Bijan Robinson running back rank overall for all running backs in fantasy football, comma, JSN wide receiver rank overall for all wide receivers in fantasy football. In the chat, I'll drag your answers on screen, and we'll see what everybody thinks, because I'd love to know where you all see Bijan overall for running backs 2023, where you see JSN overall for wide receivers in 2023 as rookies. Please drop your vote, and I'll drag it on screen. We had this news earlier, so we're not going to dance around it too much. Diana Rossini reported that all signs point to the Vikings parting ways with Dalvin Cook. That will happen after June 1 because if the Vikings cut him after June 1, they can spread out the dead cap hit over the course of 2 years versus having to spend it all in 2023. And that dead cap hit is Minnesota will save $9 million against the cap with an $8.2 million dead cap hit. So roughly they'll split that $8.2 million of dead cap into 2 different seasons, 2023 and 2024, which will help the team this offseason and, signing rookies and all that. So that's why they'll cut him after June 1. They apparently got no trade offers or requests for him. Nobody wants to trade for him, but certainly a couple teams are definitely going to be in the mix to try and grab this kid. And we've got a few of the landing spots. These are not all of them, but these are some of the main landing spots that will probably be interested. Miami was very connected to Dalvin Cook, very interested in Dalvin Cook during the offseason. They didn't do anything. They didn't go get him. They drafted A-Chain. Maybe drafting A-Chain eliminates the need or desire to go after Dalvin Cook, even if he's released. Chicago, they could go after him, but they drafted Roshan. So maybe they're no longer interested, but could have been interested before the NFL draft. And Buffalo, they seem like the most likely candidate. If I had to predict, I think a pairing of the brothers, Dalvin Cook and James Cook, in the same backfield in Buffalo would not only be good for the Buffalo Bills, but is a likely scenario in my eyes. Personally, that's how I feel. That's what we got for the news. That is everything. And now, literally, that's all we have today. Positive news, Bijan. Here are some of your votes right here. Bijan 12 says Greg, and JSN 25. Okay, that's interesting. A little low on Bijan in my opinion. 25 seems doable for JSN. JSN wide receiver 18 says Love Stars. Love Stars doesn't want to give. Oh no, he does give separate. He gives a Bijan number 2 overall behind CMC. I think he could be 1 or 2, so I'm totally okay with that one. Bijan 3 to 5 says JCIM. JSN 8 to 12. He's pretty high on JSN. Bijan running back 1. Bumpy is giving us some smile emojis. So I don't know, Bumpy, if you disagree with that or if you think that it's so amazing it's making you cry and a tear's running down your face because you're so in love with the idea of Bijan being running back 1 like I am and like I think he totally could be. Bumpy, the phone lines are wide open if you want to call and debate why this deserves 3 tilted laughing emojis, not just 1, 2, or 3 normal straight emojis. You decided to deploy the peaches, bro. Also, the looking up as if everyone's a moron, and 3 tilted crying emojis, Bumpy. If you don't think Bijan could be running back 1 as a rookie, dial into the phone line and lay it on us. I'm all ears and totally willing to have this conversation. D-Town says Bijan 8 to 10, JSN 20 to 25. That's very, very a decent prediction. Cage says Bijan 8 to 10. A little low for my liking, but I still respect you. 3 to 5, Bijan. I like that. I'm fine with that. JSN 6 to 13 is a little high for my taste there, but I do love your Bijan 3 to 5 take. And we got Ruth going with Bijan 3, JSN 10 to 15. These are all very, very good predictions. I appreciate everybody dropping that. The phone lines are open. Dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Your boy's here for you. And you can call in and talk about whatever you want. Open phone lines. No pressure to discuss anything in particular. Try and dance around this topic a little bit before you jump right into your fantasy team. Take Smitty out to dinner for a second, before you just going for the kill. What's up? You're live. This is a 403 caller. Who am I talking to?
Well, it's Bumpy, man. You told me to give you a ring, man.
Yeah,
really
Bumpy.
Bijan's really going to get up. Man, come on, Kate. I hear you on that, my bro, but you got to be completely honest here, my dude. There are how many running backs that you could pick off the top of your head that have offensive coordinators geared towards what they know they can do, know what the players can do. Sure, they made Cordero Patterson work. Okay, but he's going to be, to say that he's going to be RB1 automatically, that's not true. He's got to win the job first and foremost. They spent a crazy amount of draft pick on him, sure. But that's like saying Breece Hall last year, who when the Jets picked him up as the number 1 running back in the class, he didn't get his legs going until what? Week 5? Week 4? You know what I mean? Until they really schemed the whole offense around him. LaFleur was garbage. Like, it's just to say he's going to be RB1 in fantasy, that's a reach, my bro. That's a reach.
All right. Number one, appreciate you calling in. Number two, talking about Breece Hall getting going, this is a whole different ball game. Bijan Robinson's going out of the gate. He's going to be the number one running back for the team, the every down back. They're gonna get this guy immersed in the offense from the jump. So it's not even gonna be close. Breece Hall, if he would have continued his pace, bro, he would have been RB1 or 2. That's how good of a pace he was on. And Bumpy, hold on. I'll let you talk. Bumpy, I'll let you talk. Let me roll for a minute. But like Bijan, if we go to Breece Hall again, Breece Hall, even if you included Breece Hall's slow start, Bumpy, I believe he didn't get started, like you said, till week 4. He got injured in week 7. If you included weeks 1, 2, and 3, he still would have rivaled number 1 or number 2 overall. We also saw my guy, Kenneth Walker, on fire once he got in there. Both these guys fully capable of being top 1, 2, 3, 4 overall running backs if given the volume the entire season. Now, if your argument is that Bijan won't get full volume until week 5, 6, or 7, I just explained that even if he did get slow started, he still could flirt with the number 1 or number 2 overall running back. You say that it's a reach. It's not a reach. We've seen Saquon Barkley have that kind of season as a rookie. This guy is the next Saquon Barkley. He is the next Adrian Peterson. If there's anybody that's going to be RB1 as a rookie, it's this guy over even those guys. This is the guy. This is the generational talent. This is the guy they said that is going to be in the slot wide receiver position. You're telling me he's not going to get wide receiver work? He's going to be in the slot. They said they brought him in for that one of those reasons alone. They love this kid. And not to mention, they didn't just do it with Cordell Patterson. They did it with Cordell Patterson. They did it with Algier. They ran more than any team in the National Football League last year and did it very effectively if you take out the Eagles, who had Jalen Hurts running all over the place. If they're effective with those two running backs, they're going to be effective times 10 with Bijan Robinson in the lineup. I'll tell you this. I say it with a straight face. Bijan Robinson feels like a lock in the 1 to 2 running back overall category, my guy. Sorry, but
That's a reach.
how is that a reach? How is what? Nothing you said convinced me. You didn't say anything of substance against Bijan. You just said, people don't do it. It's the Falcons are gonna. Breece Hall will start slow starting. Nothing you said had any relevance, nor does another player's history have anything to do with Bijan. You can't just tie things and say, when has this happened? When has that happened? Number one, it has happened. Barkley had an amazing rookie season. It happens, bro.
Long time ago.
If you're gonna bring up this doesn't happen, look at this, then you got to look at that. Like, you can't just say.
The NFL's changed. The NFL's changed completely. That's why if you look at you look at the drafts now. The draft on you say it yourself. Like, when you do drafts nowadays, how many running backs go off the board in the first 12?
He went in the first top 10 picks, bro. He went number 8. No, what are you talking about?
Bijan. I'm talking.
Okay, we're talking about Bijan, Bumpy. But we're talking about Bijan. We're talking about Bijan. He went number 8.
I'm talking about the relevance of the amount that teams nowadays put, not even teams, because we're talking about fantasy. Like, the amount of priority that people are putting on the running back position this year compared to last year. Last year, if it was in the first 12, you had half of the players. Obviously, you had your JJ, you had, Chase, you had all those major, Cup, who are going to go in the top 12, of course. But the rest of them were all running backs. Now you got almost what's his name? The guy on Detroit.
Gibbs?
What's his name? I can't remember his name.
Jameer freaking Gibbs?
Yeah. No. I'm talking about wide receivers right now.
Jameson freaking Williams? Amon-Ra freaking St. Brown?
Amon-Ra.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just saying, Amon-Ra wasn't even close to anything that was even relevant to a first-round pick last year. He was maybe a 4th or a 3rd, and then now he's going in the first round because people are putting priorities on wide receivers now. So you're saying, sure, he could be the top 5 running back. I'm not saying that he couldn't be the top 5, but to say that he's going to be the top 1 or 2, I don't know, man.
Well, you're looking at a whole chat. You're looking at a whole chat. There are over 100 people in here. That majority of them are saying, "What are you talking about? Like, how can you sit here and say that that's a reach? That's crazy." He's going at number 6, 7 overall in drafts right now. The entire world sees him coming, but you, Bumpy. He's 6 to 7 overall. When's the last time that happened? When's the last time a running back went number 8 overall, to your point? And what's that say about his specific situation versus trying to then tie it to, you said it yourself on other shows, teams don't value the running back. That's why they don't go in the first round. Like, that's the exact point as to why Bijan's going to be different and viewed different. He's generational. Gibbs, same thing. Gibbs going number 12 overall to the Lions. Should better be a warning shot to people that doubt him getting full-time work because they invested in him. And Bijan is going to explode so early, so often, right out of the gate, get immersed in this offense. It's going to be built around him. They run the ball like crazy. They run like I said, if you take Jalen Hurts out of it, they run the ball more than any team in the National Football League, and they've smashed doing it, bro. They've done very well doing it. Now they get the most talented running back to ever come out of college since Saquon Barkley, if not even more talented. This is a difference maker. This is a different player. You can't tie any sort of history, or history tells us this, or the odds of this, to Bijan. Bijan is the exception to the rule. He'll be the guy we start talking about and comparing players to when we say this doesn't usually happen unless it's Bijan. This is that guy, bro. This is that guy. And you say top 5, number 1 or number 2. Am I saying he's a lock? No one's a lock. But is he in my top 1 to 2? Absolutely.
That's where the confusion arose, is because I thought you were coming off as like, he's a lock 1 or 2. Quote me on it. Keep the receipts. Doesn't matter what.
Well, it's a bold prediction.
Injuries, nothing. He's going to be top 1 or 2. And I was like, there's a lot of variables that could change that. Like top 5 for sure. I could go RB5. Like, I'm down for that. But top 2, or that's why I said RB1, laugh face, rolling eyes, peach, which is his ass. You know what I mean? I'm like, come on, RB1, dude. I'm sure he has he has the chance.
Back the truck up.
Come on, like, he's generational, of course.
Bumpy. I believe he's going to be running back 1 or running back 2, and I believe that with my core. So you might think that's crazy, but you think he could be top 5. We're not that far apart, Bumpy. Like, I don't understand. I realize you're just wanting to make a little splash here.
That's exponentially different. RB1 and 2 compared to 5.
But you and I. But you're not that far off from the bull people that think, you know what? Take that next step, bro. 1 to 2. Like I always tell you, the changing of the guard. And you hear that on this channel. If you hear that anywhere else, it came from this channel, because no one used that terminology or even discussed it. Changing of the guard's your boys. The changing of the guard is here. And when the changing of the guard happens in conjunction with a generational talent coming out, it's very easy to imagine that player being at the top right from the jump, because a lot of these bigger name guys that have been doing it for a while that are older are all going to start falling out of the top 5 anyway. So it's like, this is going to be one of those situations where it's a battle of the changing of the guard running backs. And Bijan easily is going to get into that top 1 to 5 spot. Maybe you're right. Maybe he finishes 4 or 5. Wouldn't shock me, but I'm banking on him being a top 1 to 2, 1 to 3, 1 easily. In that, easily being capable of doing that. Not that it's a lock. I can't guarantee injuries. I can't guarantee a lot of things, Bumpy. Like, you know that just by default. I can't sit here and say 100% number 1, but I'm telling you, I think he will be number 1 or number 2. And as a rookie, doesn't matter. Christian McCaffrey's the only guy that could beat him out for the number 1 spot, in my view, if he stays healthy, which I can't guarantee. But if he stays healthy, this guy is going to be fed. He's going to be fed. It's going to be amazing how immersed he is in the offense, and they're just going to feed the man. They're just going to feed him. And keep in mind how many close games this team lost. They did pretty good. They beat the Niners last year. They had a lot of close losses. This is a very, very decent team. They didn't have Kyle Pitts out there last year. They had just London, and Ritter gets all this criticism, even though I don't love Ritter. The fact that he's getting Pitts and Bijan now. 2 weapons that most teams, if not a majority of probably every team but like 5, have less weapons overall. Like, you couldn't go to a team, but 4 or 5 teams, and say, show me 2 players on your offense that are better than Bijan and Kyle Pitts. No one can come up with that. You're giving Ritter 2 of those players on top of what he had London last year. This offense is going to move the football down the field. Like, even if Ritter is not what we want him to be fully fantasy-wise, he's going to move the football down the field. If they could have done it last year with the run game, with Algier and not Bijan, and that's like I say, that's like Taco Bell meat and filet mignon dinner. Like, the difference is stark, even though we love Algier. If they can move the football with London, no Kyle Pitts, no Bijan Robinson last year, imagine what they're going to do this year. It's going to be glorious. And I think, and you could say what you want about it, Bumpy, but I feel very confident in saying he's top 2 running back in fantasy football 2023 at the end of the year. It's not even like, Bumpy, it doesn't even make me feel weird. It doesn't even make me feel like I'm going crazy. I got to be careful. Like, it seems like a cakewalk. There's a reason he's number 6 or 7 overall in a draft right now. People are seeing it coming. We just saw it first. And you'll come around, Bumpy. You'll come around. You'll come in here and go, Smitty, you're right. He is looking like the number 1 running back.
Week 1, we'll see. Week 1, we'll see. It's not even going to take time. Week 1, we'll see from everything, because if he's going to be his generation, as you say, because in the end, talent is one thing, but if they don't incorporate him to the offense, and like I was saying before, sure, like, he might need to get going like Breece Hall did. And I hate using that reference as a Jets fan, because unfortunately I'm a Jets fan. However, it's kind of, there's a weird anomaly that is very similar to what's going through with the Falcons and the Jets, right? They're drafting crazy talent that is kind of, and then their weakest link is what? The quarterback. Well, maybe not on the Falcons, because their defense is absolute dog water, but that's like, if we're talking about their offense, like, okay, you've got a crazy great tight end who's pretty much a hybrid wide receiver. If we're going to put, like, on a skill level, on like a percentile, okay, let's just say Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson, crazy offensive rookie of the year. Breece Hall would have won the rookie of the year if he didn't get hurt. But the same thing is, even if he didn't get hurt, he might have ran away with the RB1 even then, but he was still 4 weeks behind. And so you could be that number 1. And like you said, we're not really that far apart. That's like where this whole question like even arose from. You're like, give us the number.
That's why I told you to
call. Bijan, number of Bijan on the RB, and then JSN. I put Bijan at 7 and JSN 24. You know what I mean? And then I was like, okay, like, and then I see people putting up 1s and stuff. I'm like, what? Like, come on. And that's why I had to say it. Like,
well,
you're a little bit more options.
You're by yourself. You're by yourself, though. I will say that. I know you feel like this is like one of those things where people are like, am I right? And they think there's all these people behind them, and there's no, like, most people in here.
I'm on the phone, man. I'm not even watching the stream.
I know. And I give you credit.
That's the difference. That's where you're false. I don't need friends to be like, oh, am I right or not? Because the proof's in the pudding, and it'll be shown in about a couple weeks, right?
Okay. So, well, buckle up. Buckle up, Bumpy.
I want everyone to keep that same energy.
Buckle up, Bumpy. It's going to be a bumpy ride. And I'll also say this, that I get where caution could come from. I also get where you can use historical, data to try and support the answer. But I think you look to that, you're going to miss the boat on this one, because he's going to be that good from the jump. This is the exception to the rule. Also, I believe that it's one of those things where even if he started off slow, I don't agree with what you said, where you go, if it happens in week 1, we'll know. I don't think we have to know in week 1. As I alluded to earlier, if Breece Hall would have just continued his pace of what he was doing, he would have been running back 1 or 2. Probably would have been behind McCaffrey after the trade and all that. He still would have trailed him, but he would have probably been running back 2 with a slow week 1, 2, and 3 start. And there's also the rookie wall. You could say, okay, if let's say, a running back starts week 1 and gets pure volume all year, he's going to hit a rookie wall week 10, 11. And some running backs push through it after 1 or 2 weeks. It's not like he has to have a 4-week lull of not doing anything. And Bijan's the kind of player, I think, that can push through it because he's strong, he's big, he's most physically gifted running back to come out of college since Saquon Barkley. So I think he could push through that. But there are advantages to getting unleashed in week 3. So I don't think it's going to tell the story, but I don't see this team not unleashing him in week 1. Bumpy, you can stay on the phone if you want, or jump off. We're going to keep a few of you on the line, so feel free to stay. Let's go over to.
I appreciate it, Paul. I just wanted to figure out where disconnect is, but because we really weren't too far off. But in the end of the day, man, we're going to see what's going to happen with Bijan.
Right,
I hope, and I'm not a Bijan hater either, man. I hope he does do great, and I hope the Falcons do well, because I'm going to try and get him in the first round. However,
When you watch football, and another thing I'm going to
When
say
you-
one more thing. Scheme.
I watch
scheme
football.
is something you got to practice on. A scheme is something you have to practice really hard on offense, especially when you're a rookie. When it comes I know a bunch of us has played football before. If you played on the offensive side of the ball, you realize that it takes time because you have to. And scheme is something you realize right away. You might not get all the touches that you want, especially if you play like running back or something. Regardless of the skill level, the coach is going to get you involved with the play, maybe give you 10 touches, see if the scheme is really your fit, but it's not. You're not.
What are they going to
really
do, Bumpy? What are they going to do if
drastic
it doesn't
shift.
fit? They're going to just back away from. Like, what are you talking about? They're going to build this offense around him.
I'm
He's
saying-
getting all the volume.
No.
I get.
What I'm saying is, come week 1, you're going to be able to see whether or not what they're going to try and do with them. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I don't think come week 1 you're going to see them go. Yeah, this isn't going to work, Bumpy. I don't think that. I don't think week 1's telling you. If week 1's going to tell you something positive, or it's not going to tell you something negative, because if they're going to ease him in, they're not going to say, oh, you're going to by week 1 we can determine this guy's not a good fit for our scheme. He's not picking it up, and he's probably just going to stay at 60% volume all year long.
No,
Like, that's not
you have to develop the scheme with the player.
this guy. The scheme develops with Bijan, bro. He doesn't develop with the scheme. He is the one who knocks, bro. This is Bijan. This is Bijan Robinson.
All right, man. I'm gonna keep these receipts, bro. I'm telling you that.
You can keep them all you want. I got tons of videos on it. Our RB1 video, go check that one out. That receipt's already made up. It's all packaged, all nice and tight for you there. Bumpy, appreciate you. Kudos for calling in, bro. Later.
No.
All right, let's go to Ron. Ron Navy, you're live.
I want some pudding so I can find some truth, but maybe he needs to put those receipts in the pudding.
Yeah, but it's gonna be a bumpy road
Listen,
from.
every team, every year. I mean, especially since they redid training camp, is not as what it used to be, and the preseason isn't what it used to be. A lot of these teams and players get off to slow starts for the first couple of weeks. I mean, that just happens. That's just part of it. And then they catch their groove like week 4, whatever. That's all part of it. That doesn't take away from the value of Bijan or anybody else. So that's just ridiculous talk. Bumpy was just totally ridiculous on this. So I hope he keeps his receipts, because when he comes back in or he doesn't come back in because he was totally wrong, I want to cash in some receipts on him.
Yeah, I look
And
at
this
and he
is
could
my
fit.
thing.
And he can finish
With,
two or three. Like, it's not crazy, Doesn't mean that anyone's wrong if he finishes
but-
3 and has a great year and gets banged up for 2 weeks. Like, I'm not.
I'm worried about Seattle because I'm worried about JSN and the crew up there, because, for one, I mean, they're just overloaded, and they're going to be a run-first offense. They're not going to be a pass-first offense. We know that already. So we already got Walker. We got Charbonnet there. JSN, is he going to do decent? Yeah, but I don't think he's going to do as good as if he was went to a team where he wasn't behind Lockett and Metcalf from the very start. So I'm not huge on JSN this first year at all. So
Yeah.
I'm higher on Addison. I think Addison, he's going to be the number 2 guy there, not the number 3 or the 2. Or you got Lockett, the 2A and the 2B.
Hey, real quickly, hold on. Whoever's got the
yeah,
TV on in the background, could you please mute the phone or turn down the TV in the background? I hear all kinds of TV sounds. So thank you. Ron, hang tight real quickly. I'm sorry. Did you finish your thought? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, I'm pretty much done. I mean, that was it. That was my thought for. I called in to originally talk about JSN side of the house, and then kind of had to loop in on the Bijan mess that was talked about.
Okay. Caller from the 910. What's your name, bro? You're live. Hello? 910?
I'm from 857.
Well, all right, hold on. Let me put that. Okay, 857, you go then. You're ready.
What's going on, Smitty?
What's up, pal?
I'm just hanging out, just listening in.
What's your name?
Lando.
Rango?
Lando.
Lando.
Like the Star Wars. Like
Lando.
Star Wars.
Oh, Mando. Mando or Lando? Pam or
With an
Pan?
L.
Okay. Pan.
like
Got
like
it.
a Star Wars character.
Pan.
Anyway, yeah, just listening to this, and yeah, I'm in the middle of a draft at the moment. I'm seeing Bijan coming up as the third skill player chosen in the Superflex, so that tells you a lot.
Yeah, people are on board. I know some people don't want to be on board, and I get it, and that's fine. But like the thing that makes me funny, like if Bumpy would have said, guys, I kind of feel like he won't, that would be one thing. But to be like, you're crazy, like his stance was, are you like almost like you're crazy. Like this is like, come on, man. Like what did he say? I don't know when he got on it, something of the sort of like that's a reach. Are you crazy? Whatever. As if like my stance is insane. Like that's where you get me a little riled up. It's not that I don't think someone should have an opinion. It's when someone thinks my opinion's garbage. Sometimes I do that back, I admit. But, it's my show. But
I don't think he said your opinion was garbage.
It felt that way.
He was just stating that he did make an opinion that was a little on the controversial side. I'll say that. But I don't think he was calling you garbage.
Well, no. I didn't mean he's saying that, but I mean it was like, what? Really? Like it was a shocked, crazy take to go number one, number two. He's not finishing number one and number two, and that's the only thing that's like weird to me when people say that. It's like you can't see the potential. Like maybe you don't think it's gonna happen, and you say I'm gonna say RB4, RB5, RB6. Like, I'm not going to agree with it, but I respect it. I read a bunch of people that said 5, 6, 7, and I'm like, I don't agree, but appreciate your vote. Like, but when you say, no, Smitty, running back 1, what are you smoking, Smitty? Or, Smitty, that can't happen. Running back 1, let me tell you why it can't happen. Like, no one can tell me why it can't happen. Bijan Robinson, to me, is an absolute monster. And to me...
Smitty, really quick, I'm jumping off of here because my sister tried to call me. So
okay,
I'll talk to you later.
You got anything else before you leave?
I can tell you.
Anything else, Ron? Oh, he left. Is the 910 caller ready yet, Lando? Hang tight, real quick. 910, you there?
I am.
All right. Who is this? And you're live. Who is this?
This is Greg Kellogg. I'm a Fantasy Sports Writers Association Hall of Famer.
Kellogg.
I've been doing fantasy sports since 1988,
I know
and
you.
I'm the one that projected Bijan at 12. And I think that's being kind right now for a couple of reasons. Let me elaborate.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, at no point in his college career has he shown that he's an outstanding pass catcher. When you compare him to Saquon, look back to Saquon's rookie year, the only year in which he's been number 1 or number 2. And what did he have that Bijan hasn't shown he can do? First of all, he caught the ball a lot, an awful lot. And in PPR, that's huge. Now, second, Atlanta, I lived in the Atlanta area for a lot of years, had press credentials to the Falcons. The problem I have with Atlanta is I don't think they're that good of a team. Their quarterback is suspect, as all get out. Now, I like the kid. I do. I think he can develop to be a good one. But, I don't know. You got to see it on the field. I haven't seen it on the field yet. Do I think Bijan is going to be a great running back? Absolutely. Do I think he's a generational talent? No, not really.
Woo!
I think a lot of people throw that term around, but he never even led the college nation in rushing in college. To me, a generational talent is somebody like Derrick Henry was. 2,000 yards in high school, 2,000 yards in college, and 2,000 yards as a pro. That's pretty hard to do. I don't know if anybody else has ever done that, which makes him a generational talent.
And no denying that Henry is a generational talent, but
you can't have 2 generational talents in the same generation.
Well, I that's your determination of that. I think there could be multiple
generational talent means you're the best in a generation.
Well, you're a generational prospect. I think he'll be better than Derrick Henry. So there you go. Derrick Henry gets bumped out. He was the generational belt holder, if you will. But here's the thing about what you're saying is part of and I've been doing this a while too. I've been doing this. I've been doing this since 2003. So from a professional perspective, so we've both been in the game a while, okay? And I do know who you are. We played in leagues together, I believe. So I respect you and I respect your opinion. But we've both been doing this a while. We both have different, obviously, angles at how we attack it. Some of my stuff's more gut-driven than the average bear. And I get pushback in the industry for that a lot. I heard the same pushback for Adrian Peterson.
That's the way to go.
And
That's the way to go. Go with your gut.
Well, I do. But I got a lot of pushback on my Adrian Peterson, takes back when Adrian Peterson was entering the NFL. He's too upright. Half the industry was against Adrian Peterson. He's going to fail. He's too upright. His style won't translate. Like, sometimes you have to go with your gut, and my gut screaming that Bijan Robinson is the generational talent. If you want to use your definition of generational, which is fine, I'll use it. He's the generational running back. He bumps anybody out that was holding the belt. And to me, I'm not going to use history of how a team used him in college. I'm not going to fall victim to the way people fell victim, and I didn't, because I loved Zeke Elliott as a pass catcher coming out of college, and people said he didn't catch passes. He'll never be a great pass catcher. We can't use what a college is doing with the player to determine their ceiling value from a category like, catching the football and the receiving part of his game.
You've got to admit it's the only clue you have.
Nah,
at
it's
least
not.
Until the preseason, and then you can see him. And I'm not even blaming Bijan for his pass catching numbers as a rookie. I'm blaming that whole offense and the way they design the offense. Smith does not run a pass-friendly offense. He runs a run-heavy offense, which makes the team more one-dimensional, which makes it easier to defend them. I have Bijan as the second-best running back in this year's draft. I think Jahmyr Gibbs, barring injury, which can hit either one of these guys, I think Jahmyr Gibbs, because of his pass-catching prowess, will way outdo Bijan. Now, everybody complains about Gibbs' size, 199 or 200 pounds. But I grew up a Detroit fan. I'm sorry, Barry Sanders was 203. Okay? And he never had trouble carrying it. Now, how many carries do you expect Bijan to get?
I mean, it's tough to say his rookie year. They're obviously not going to just hand him, he could lead the league in carries by the end of the year. Like, it wouldn't shock me if he was number one in yards, number one in carries, top 2 or 3 in touchdowns. And to go against your other point of being worried about him as a pass catcher, one of the main reasons Atlanta, one of the big things they're excited about is his ability to play the slot, his ability to catch the football. And you can cite college all you want, Greg. Like, I get it, and I respect your opinion. I don't agree with it, but I respect your opinion. But you can cite college reception totals, how he was used. But when I watch a player at the combine, like I watch Zeke Elliott, when I watch Zeke Elliott work out, when I watch Zeke Elliott's hands, when I watch Bijan on the field, I see a guy that has no flaws, not a single flaw in his game. There's no cons to this guy. There's no he needs to work on this. He's the most polished player to come out of college, which is why he's generational to me. And he's going to catch the football as good as anybody in the National Football League. As good as any. He could be the number one pass-catching running back in the National Football League by his second season and show not just flashes of it, but a big, huge sample of it during his rookie season. This is a guy that's going to, on the regular, catch over 50 receptions easily. Just trip and fall into 50-plus receptions.
Yeah, but 50 receptions is not going to come close to leading the league's running backs.
Well, I know, but as a
Christian McCaffrey.
As a rookie, I'm saying, he's going to trip and fall, is the word I use. Trip and fall into 50-50.
He's not going to catch more passes than Jahmyr Gibbs.
He doesn't have to. He doesn't have to. And keep in mind how high I am on Jahmyr Gibbs. So this argument probably won't work too well because I'm super high on Jahmyr Gibbs too. So Jahmyr Gibbs, to me, we've got animations. If you watch the show, you've seen it. We're ultra high on Jahmyr Gibbs. We love Jahmyr Gibbs. And Jahmyr Gibbs is a half running back, half wide receiver. And in my estimation, could even be a very successful bigger receiving yardage guy than rushing yardage, not just 50-50. He could be what Eckler used to be, which was Eckler was a 400-yard rusher max when he was in his prime, and he was an RB, but he got the massive amount of yardage, the receiving yards. I easily could see him doing that. So could Gibbs outscore Bijan in the PPR department? Absolutely. Like, that wouldn't shock me at all. But Bijan's going to run. He's the kind of player that's going to get 14, 15 touchdowns. What?
You think Eckler's no longer in his prime?
I think Eckler's 28 years old and walking into potentially his decline year. Yes. He's at 28 years old at his stature. I'm avoiding Eckler.
When was his best year as a pro?
It doesn't matter, though. We're not talking about what happened yesterday. We're trying to predict what's going to happen in the future. He's 28 years old.
Yes, I understand that, but his best year as a pro, far and away, was last year.
Okay.
I mean, it's not even close. I mean, so I look at predicting the future is very difficult. You were absolutely right. Saquon Barkley led the NFL in fantasy points as a rookie. What's he done since then? He's still good back. Don't get me wrong. I love Saquon Barkley. But he's been injury prone and things like that. My problem with all the high projections for somebody like Bijan is I think that they're more hung up on the player itself and less on the situation. I think Jahmyr Gibbs is behind a much better offensive line in Detroit than Bijan is in Atlanta. I think Detroit's quarterback, as much as he struggled, is a much better quarterback at this point in his career than Atlanta's quarterback. I think Drake London is a good young talent, but he hasn't done anything yet. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown has done things. Plus, after 6 weeks of stupidity, Jamison Williams will add to that receiving core. I just think that, I also think Detroit got.
I get what you're saying, Greg. I mean, I love Gibbs. See, I mean, I'm not going to argue with any of the points on Gibbs. We love Gibbs. Gibbs could be a top 5, top 7 running back. But you are standing. Your stance is almost as if it's kind of like Bumpy's earlier. It's almost as if this side is the oddball side. Like, you got to admit your side is more of the oddball side than not. I don't know another person on this planet Earth that I've talked to in the last 48 hours or at least a week that said Bijan Robinson is the 12th running back. Did you rank him?
Yeah, I think you'd be 10 to 12.
Like, that is, you got to admit you're in a room by yourself. Like, could you be right? Anybody could be right, sure. But you are in a room by yourself. He's going 6 or 7 overall right now. So he not only is he way ahead of your overall rank, he's literally sitting at 6 overall, which is typically RB2 or 3.
And where did Jonathan Taylor go last year in drafts?
Yeah, but you can't just use other examples and say that's going to be what happens with this situation.
What I'm saying is a lot of people go higher than they should in drafts. Last year, I wouldn't touch Jonathan Taylor because of the curse of 370, which anybody that's been around since 2004 has heard of or should have anyway. It's been written about by Fantasy Football Outsiders, by ESPN, by Football Diehards.
I got you.
A lot of people by Squirt Grumblings. It's been written about over and over again over the years. And basically, when I brought it up last year, I took 5 years off. I retired from fantasy in 2016.
Welcome back. It's Bijan's world.
Okay, so to me, Bijan is a very good running back, but I don't think he's on a very good team. And I think the quarterback play is going to hurt him.
What do you make?
Really good backup running back,
What do you make of the fact that C. Patterson exploded in that offense? Algier exploded in that offense. How much longer can people use that Atlanta, Atlanta Ritter's being handed Kyle Pitts, who he didn't play with last year. He's being handed Kyle Pitts and Bijan Robinson. As I alluded to earlier on the top of the show, there are very few teams, if any, that even have two players that are that talented on the offensive side of the football. He's being handed not only Drake London, who he's getting back, who on pace together, those two were Drake London, the last 5 games was on pace for about 1,300 plus yards. He was doing very well with Ritter. And he's being handed Bijan and Kyle Pitts. This offense got better, and they still ran the hell out of the ball last year with Algier and did so the year prior with Cordell Patterson. At what point do we stop using this as a bad team as an excuse when we saw Barkley on a bad team? Barkley did it on a bad team. Greg?
Patterson didn't carry the ball a lot. Cordell Patterson didn't carry. He's a wide receiver. He did not carry the ball a whole lot. He carried it a lot for a wide receiver, but he didn't get 200 carries. He didn't get 250 carries. He didn't get 300 carries. That's carrying the ball a lot. I expect Bijan's going to get 250 to 300 carries this year. Carries.
Then why don't you love him? Why is he number 12 for you? You can't say Greg, you can't say you love Bijan when you rank him number 12. You can't. I'm not going to let you on that train. I can't let you on that train, Greg. You can't be on the I love Bijan train. You're not allowed. I take away your Bijan card. I'm taking away your Bijan card. You can't step on foot of this train calling him number 12.
Are you going to be in Canton for the expo?
I'm going to try.
Okay, well, if you're there, look me up. I'm not going to be in a booth or anything, but I'm going to be wandering around. I'm going to bring you my Bijan card and show it to you because you don't get one. Okay, I don't want one.
You don't get one.
I'm a Detroit fan from the time I was in first grade, so
well,
I want Jameer to do better than Bijan.
Well, I could tell there's a little bias involved. I do love the Bijan or the Jameer Gibbs take. You're not going to get any arguments from me on.
I just think he's a much better receiver.
Can you
for rookie running back? I think receiving is hugely important for rookie running backs.
All right. Hey, Greg, I appreciate you calling in. Appreciate you watching the show. Appreciate you in general. And
I want to thank you for taking the call. It's not always that people are confident enough to take an opposing view call. That's very good for you.
Yeah, my phone lines are always wide open, Greg. I appreciate you. We'll see you later, pal.
Take care.
Later. Lando, you got anything else for me? The Bijan. Look, the weird thing is, Lando, and whoever else is about to call in, the weird thing is we've had no Bijan pushback for months, and now everybody's coming out of the woodwork, and it's weird. And I refuse to let Greg say he likes Bijan. He could say it if he wants to himself, but I refuse to allow him to jump on the train when you call Bijan not even the top 12 or top 12. He calls him number 12. That is disrespectful. I don't know if he's seen this. Maybe we need to show this to Greg real quick. Greg, if you're watching, here you go.
Hi, my name is Bijan Robinson. I like long walks on the beach. And, well, I also like scoring.
And one reason he doesn't have teeth in that end part of the animation is he lost them running so many times. He got them all knocked out, scoring 15 touchdowns as a rookie. That's what happened. Let's see. Lucas says, you know why, Smitty? Because they missed out and they're bitter. That is maybe some of the reasoning behind some of the doubling down. I always talk about the psychology. Your boy has a psych degree. I bring psychology and fantasy football together. And there's a doubling down disease out there where people double down on what they're saying because they don't want to be wrong and they look for it and they keep willing it to happen. It's like to not call Bijan generational. And I disagree. I mean, I know he has his definitions. Greg's old school, and that's cool. We've both been doing this. I've been doing this as long as almost anybody. I don't know if Greg was doing it longer than me or not, but I've been doing this since 2003. I've been doing it well over 20 years. The YouTube channel is newer. 4 or 5 years. What are we at? 5 years now? 4 years? Whatever. But I've been doing it. I was on the longest running fantasy football radio show in the world for 19 straight years. That radio show went 23 straight years on NBC and CBS Sports Radio. So I've been doing this a while, and I've seen generational prop up before. And in my estimation, in my definition, generational means you are literally the best of your generation. And in my opinion, there are multiple players that can be in that category, generational talents. And to me, a guy like Bijan, a guy like Henry, if you want to use Henry and what he's done, if you want to call both of them generational, I, Smitty, approve that. Let's go ahead and get it. Lando, you there yet?
Hey, what's up, bro?
What else you got, Lando?
You care to take a list on my rundown from my draft?
Can I give you a what?
Give me a rundown.
Rundown, like a rating on your team? Sure. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Hit me with it.
Just completed.
Go ahead.
So I came in on the on a 12-man super flex at the 12 spot.
Okay.
I'm doing a lot of training for the 12 spot, so I want to see what I can get out of the value. So first pick went to, the 12th pick went to Sean Watson.
I'm not following what we're doing here. Are you going to read off your team?
Yeah.
Okay. So you got Deshaun Watson?
Sean Watson at the 12th pick, yep.
Okay.
After that, second pick went to Prescott. Third pick went to Cooper Kupp. Fourth pick went to Olave. Fifth pick went to Rashad White. Derrick Henry dropped to the 6th.
Woo! That's a great. Let me just say, for as much grief as I give Henry, that is a fantastic move. Like, almost question you not taking Henry over Rashad White. Is this dynasty?
This is just regular PPR.
This is just redraft. I'm gonna make you take a lap real quick. I'm gonna make you take. Look, you're gonna be celebrating and patting yourself on the lap, on the back, because you ended up getting Henry so late. So pat yourself on the back as you take a lap. But even from a guy saying be wary of Henry to pass on Derrick Henry for Rashad White in a redraft setting, take a lap.
You've just been.
I just
I ended up getting both guys. So,
okay, so Derrick Henry, that's crazy. Okay.
Yeah.
That packages in all the missed games and risk and all that. But go ahead.
7th went to Christian Kirk.
Okay.
8th pick went to Mike Evans. My third quarterback is 9th pick Matt Stafford. 10th pick went to Madison.
You keep saying went to, and I'm just like, are you telling me of people that are drafting, or you keep saying went to?
No, those are guys that I'm drafting. I'm sorry.
Okay.
All right, so I got Ingram at 11.
Okay, Ingram at 11. Take ownership of your team, pal. You did this, okay? All right. Evans.
Elijah Moore at 12.
Okay, I think we're good. I don't need to go deep. No offense, needs to hear the whole entire roster. But I like what you did here. Cooper Kupp, Olave, Derrick Henry, Mike Evans, Madison. This could be a fire pick for you if it all works out. Definitely grab McBride later. But that's a fantastic team. You did really good. You got two very good quarterbacks considering the players you have. But if it's redraft, this is not dynasty. Part of me wonders if this is dynasty and you don't know it. Because...
I don't even think so.
Because Henry falling that far makes me think it's dynasty, bro. You might want to check with your commissioner. Right. I just get a funny sense that they're doing some sort of keeper dynasty situation here, because this doesn't make sense why he would fall that far. Like, he's definitely a third rounder in fantasy football redraft. So in Superflex, that's like a fourth or fourth and a half, maybe fifth round pick in redraft. But to fall all the way to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 round seems awfully far. It seems at least a round off, unless there's some sort of keeper dynasty component to it. So, but great team, bro. Great team. Nice job. Unless is it an 8-man league? Is it something like that?
No, it's 12.
Wow, yeah, it doesn't make sense. Henry that late. This has got to be keeper or something going on here.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a little fishy when I saw him there. I was like, I kind of stretched. I felt like I stretched to get him for some reason. And I was like, okay, he dropped to like the first pick on the 6th round.
You got to look into that, bro. You got to know your format. Go check it out for me and let me know. There's just that doesn't compute for me. It sticks out like a sore thumb.
Definitely. Yeah, but I feel pretty decent with the lineup. As far as like the suspects that you would think about, it's like Bijan fell in the 10th spot, so he was a third skill player picked.
That makes me think it is redrafted. Bijan fell to the. Well, no, that could be why. That could be why it's dynasty. That could be why it's dynasty.
It's like dynasty for him to come up that.
Yeah,
high
bro, you go check and see if this is a dynasty. Go check. You got to go check. What app are you on? Where are you drafting on? Like Sleeper? Where are you drafting?
Yeah, these are just mock drafts off of Sleeper.
Oh, it's a mock draft, bro. No, it's a mock draft. It's not a game. This is not a game. You're talking about practice. You're talking about practice, not a game. Practice. I'm just kidding, Lando. Hey, Lando, you crushed the mock draft. You crushed it. I hope you get this in the real draft. Don't take offense to that, Lando. You're getting quiet on me.
I hear you, man.
Oh, I put a lot of effort into that, Lando. That was a mock draft? Okay. Hey, Lando, what do you think of Bijan? Let's get to another topic. I appreciate it. Good job, by the way. It was a great team. But what do you think of Bijan?
The whole point I was trying to make there is that I run a lot of these like instant mock drafts, and I always find Bijan at the very top. So it was just kind of filling into your argument.
Yeah, it probably was a dynasty. But what do you think of Bijan? Let's get onto a real good topic here. What do you think of Bijan? And the chat's having a good time with that one. Don't take offense, Landon. Have thick skin, okay? I don't want you getting mad at me.
No problem. Your broadcast is coming in like delay anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm not swinging.
What do you think about Bijan? Is he a top 5 running back to you as a rookie, or are you one of the doubters? You can be honest. I won't get mad at you as long as you don't come in here telling me I'm crazy like the last two. As if I'm wrong.
Based on what I'm running here on like the systems that I'm running, what I get is Bijan is very much at the very top, and I would just run entire like auto pick drafts. So it's AI deciding to choose Bijan at the very top. And so what I find is he's coming up at, top. In normal dynasties, he's coming up at top 7. Top 7, 6, 7, 8. So he's really high up there. So like, in my humble prediction, I think he's going to do really well. I think he's going to, I think he'll eclipse about 1,300 yards total, ground and air. So I think he'll do really well.
So basically, you agree with Greg. Oh, Lando, I appreciate you, man. You're a good sport. I think 1,300 yards rushing would disappoint me. But it's okay. We don't all see Bijan the same. But you're a respectable man. You didn't come in here and tell me I'm wrong. But I might have to take away your Bijan card for the 1,300 total yards, pal.
You don't think so?
I think he runs for 1,300 yards. So
okay.
he should be well over 1,600 total yards, in my estimation. But anyway, yeah, he can have a big season. Did you hear the previous segment? I think he could be number one overall running back at the end of the season for sure. He could. My wording's weird. He could be number one for sure. Think that way.
Does that kind of workload cut into the receiving? The passing game.
Yeah, sure, but you got to think about the fact there's a lot of components involved. You'll have some people come in and say, "Oh, Kyle Pitts wasn't there, so therefore London can't be on the 1,300-yard pace that he was on with Ritter under center." Ritter was under center, throwing at a 1,300-yard pace with This guy, Drake London, this monster in the making. And one could say Pitts coming in and Bijan coming in take away. Another person could say it's just the yardage is there. He's going to have the ability to throw 1,300 yards to one guy and still get Kyle Pitts 800 and still get Bijan 400 or 500 receiving yards. That's not that many yards. Like you could spread that around. So, no, I'm not concerned. I'm not concerned at all. I think that the offense is going to be that much better. The fact that they didn't have good quarterback play, even though Mariota was able to keep some games close, and it was actually impressive in a very throw up in my mouth kind of way, what Mariota was able to accomplish in this offense. Ritter is a better quarterback. I'm not saying Ritter's proven. I'm not saying I love Ritter, but can we give Ritter a moment to try and prove he's better than at least people think? When Ritter hasn't even played with Bijan and Kyle Pitts, he's being handed two weapons that most teams don't have. And he still has Drake London. Like, that's what I don't get. Nobody, like, when the caller called in and said that the offense is bad and he's just got a worse offense, we've seen the example we use in Barkley. He didn't have a great offense, and Barkley, was out there doing Barkley things. It's not like everybody has Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts. Bijan Robinson is going to cakewalk into 1,300, 1,200, 1,300 yards. And that's not my projection. He's going to trip and fall into 1,200, 1,300 yards rushing. Absolutely fall on his face forward. If he fell every time he carried the ball forward, he just fell forward on his face every single time, he'd have 1,200, 1,300 yards. Imagine what he's going to do if he rips off monster runs and becomes the player we think he could be. And Atlanta keeps telling everybody, but no one wants to listen. He's going to play slot wide receiver a lot. We, of course, love the running, but what we're enamored by is his ability to catch the football. And no offense to Greg, he called in. He was a good sport, and I appreciate him, but I 100,000% disagree with him. Anybody that puts Bijan at number 12 in the running back rankings for 2023, we're going to not agree on pretty much anything, I could tell you. Straight down the board. We're going to disagree on pretty much every single thing in the entire world. Movies, music, we aren't compatible, Greg. We aren't. I'm sorry. Bijan 12. I'm taking if he had a Bijan card, I'm taking away his Bijan card. If I ever see him, I will show him my card. And I'll say, you don't have one of these. Because remember what you said? 12? Running back 12, Greg? Running back 12? I keep hitting that approval button. Hold on one second, fellas. Lando, hang tight. Ron, hang tight. We got a very, very special guest, a celebrity. We've been looking for him forever. We've been hunting for this man everywhere. And no, it's not Mike.
Oh.
It's not Mike. Hold on.
It's Smitty. It's Denny.
It's Denny.
It's Denny.
Denny, where have you been? We've been worried sick about you. We've been worried sick about you, Denny.
Man. I appreciate that so much. Like, I'm very sensitive. I'll cry. I'm just calling in to see what the hell's going on, man. No, we're fine. Thanks for worrying about me.
Yeah, what's up? Hey, what do you think of Bijan? Is he a top 5 running back as a rookie, Denny?
Yes.
That's my boy.
And now he's in the slot, as far as I know. Now he can run a slot route. Oh my God.
That's my boy. You're my boy. Attaboy, Denny.
I learned that from you, Smitty. I learned that from you.
We're slinging it. We're out here slinging it, Denny. We're making it look easy. In hindsight, this is going to look like a cakewalk.
So, what's going on? You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know what's going on. I'm just asking you.
Yeah, because where have you been? Let me guess, Denny. You've been missing for a while. You're waking up. You're waking up to a changing world around you. You want to know what the scoop is. What's the news? Bijan just signed his rookie deal. He's ready to rumble. I've been arguing with people nonstop on the phone today. Apparently, people don't like Bijan Robinson, which is a new occurrence. But we're here debating it with people. And Denny, you're here. Ron Navy's here. Denny, hang tight. Let's go to Ron. Ron Navy. Ron Navy, you're live on the Denny Show.
Hey, Ron.
Hey, buddy, missed you.
Hey, Ron.
Awesome.
No, I'm here. It's okay, Ron. I'm right here. It's all right. It's good to see you, man. It's nice to listen to you.
I got a question for you, Danny.
Shoot.
I just solved it. Steelers play. The 49ers go to the Steelers and play in Week 1, baby. Week 1. I think the Steelers 49ers dream start in Week 1.
Who the hell is Ron? You gotta catch me up, man. I've been out. Who the hell is the quarterback for the Steelers?
Pickett, Kenny Pickett. Come on, Pickett the Pickens, baby.
Oh yeah.
I love Denny.
Week 1, we destroy the 49ers.
Dude, I'm all 49ers. You know who I like? Mr. Irrelevant. I like that other guy. Now, Kenny Pickett's hands are too small, and he can't zip it. You know what I mean? You can't zip it. Like
Smitty.
Oh, who's
Mr.
Irrelevant for the 49ers?
Don't I sling it, Denny?
Help me.
Denny, can I sling it? Can I sling it, Denny?
Please. Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Smitty?
Yeah, that's me.
Natural born swinger. He zips it.
He
played ball with some guys, some huge guys back in the day. Smitty can zip it. Yeah, you ever notice? And then even when I was watching today, did you guys see with Aaron Rodgers? His first games in New York, right?
Yep, we got it. Well, no, I got it on. I got it on screen here.
Oh, you see the way he does that?
Hold on.
That's the way Smitty used to throw it.
Hold on, I got it. I got to get
Navy,
the wrong.
you're my boy, but you gotta zip it like that. I don't put all your money into the Jets. Aaron Rodgers still has that.
Okay, here, real quickly, guys. I got the schedule on screen here. Lions at the Chiefs, which is a phenomenal Thursday night opener. The Carolina Panthers at the Falcons, the Texans at the Ravens, the Bengals at the Browns. That's going to be a lambasting if I've ever seen one. Jaguars at the Colts. That's going to be another lambasting, but it'll be fun to watch. Bucks at the Vikings. Vikings should take that one. And let me predict up here. So KC, I think, wins this game, but the Lions look awesome. And it would not shock me if I changed my mind and I go Lions win this game just because I'm so excited about the Lions. But I think the Falcons win this game at home against the Panthers. I think the Ravens beat the Texans, but who knows? The Texans are going to surprise some people. I think the Bengals crush the Browns. I think the Jaguars crush the Colts. I think the Vikings beat the Bucks. The Titans are going to get, I think, beat by the Saints pretty easily. The Steelers at home against the Niners. Ron, I'm very interested in this game, and I don't know what I'm going to choose yet, but it's going to depend on the quarterback play and how shaky it looks. But the Steelers winning this game is not outside the realm of possibility. Like this is
all day long.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun game to watch. The Cardinals are going to probably get smoked by the Commanders. The Packers are going to lose to the Bears in Chicago. The Raiders are going to get beat by Sean Payton and the Broncos in Denver. I don't know if Jimmy G is going to be in shape enough to throw mile high. We've got the Miami Dolphins and Chargers. That's going to be a close one. That's the first toss-up game for me at a glance. I think that's a really I'm going to go Miami. I'm going to go Miami until the Chargers prove themselves to me. I think the Eagles beat the Patriots, but that will be a fun game to watch regardless. The Rams get beat in Seattle by the Seahawks. I think the Cowboys and Giants are another toss-up game. I think the Giants are going to come to play. Dable's an amazing coach. They're at home in New York, so that's not a gimme game for the Cowboys. The Cowboys are implementing their new offense their new play calling situation for the first time. We don't know how that's going to unveil, so I'm going to maybe go with the Giants at home in that game. until we see what the Cowboys can do on a consistent level. And the Buffalo Bills at the Jets, that is the biggest toss-up of the week. The NFL knows what they're doing. I'm going to decide that game later. I guess I kind of lean in the direction of Buffalo until we see Aaron Rodgers get acclimated, but I might change my mind and say this is in New York. The fans are going to be into it. Aaron Rodgers is a baller. This is a great schedule. This is a great week one. This is a fantastic week one.
I like it. I love it. Man, I love it.
Rodgers pick them apart. Bills start out 0-1. That's what Mike's calling it. And it's in New York on 9/11. On 9/11, yeah, the Jets are winning.
Yeah, I mean, definitely,
New York, but
definitely could happen. I'm definitely gonna be rooting for both sides.
In New York City.
I'm gonna be rooting for both sides. I love both these teams, so it'll be fun to watch them. Wow.
It's like Gibbs show everyone on the very first game of the year.
What, Lando?
Aaron Rodgers for a dive.
Hold on one sec. Hold on. Hey, Denny, hang tight real quick. Lando, what'd you say?
Oh, my bad. All right. Okay. I'll hang tight. I'll hang tight.
It looks like Gibbs might show some doubters, man, at the first game of the year.
Yeah, I think he could. Gibbs is going to have a day. Gibbs could get eased in a little slower than Bijan. Could. I'm not saying will, but could. Just, there's a lot of, pass protection and, all that involved in Gibbs being on the field. Yet again, they could put him in the slot. He doesn't have to be in pass protection mode. In fact, I could see Gibbs, a way of the Lions fast-tracking him is just having him split out wide a lot where he's not obligated to pass protect and then break off on a route. So that could be the solution there. And we've heard that they could do that. So
Bijan's a mustard.
Bijan,
he ain't going to be like Bijan.
Bijan at home against the Carolina Panthers, that's not what Greg wanted to hear. That's not what the caller before Greg. Who was the caller before Greg? Bumpy. That's not what Bumpy wanted to hear. This is a nice little matchup for a rookie running back that gets to walk in, and Ritter's going to be 1-0. And what are people going to say? Falcons are going to run the ball down the Carolina Panthers' throat. And I like Bryce Young and all. And I think Carolina's got a pretty decent, team actually, considering. But I just think they brought in they got a good offensive line. They have a good coaching staff. They brought in some consistent weapons that can help fast track Bryce Young and get him, where he needs to be. I love Mingo, but Mingo could take some time. Maybe not. Some of these rookie wide receivers pop in week one. But, I like the team. I just don't like the weapons near as much as the Falcons, and I don't think the offense will exploit the Falcon defense to a crazy degree to where the Falcons can't score more points with Bijan on the ground. Kyle Pitts, London, let's go.
Quick question to you and to Ron Navy. How do you feel about Baltimore and Zay Flowers? I got a feeling that's I'd love to grab Zay Flowers with in Baltimore, and then you got the great tight end Mark Andrews. I don't know. I think Baltimore might be no joke. It's just what I'm thinking. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think Baltimore, they definitely did what they needed to do in order to give, I think, Lamar a chance to change the narrative. The narrative has been failure. Injury, failure, they take away his weapons. And I said from the beginning that I would change my tune on Lamar Jackson being a total bust in Baltimore if they did certain things, and they did all of those things. They did all of them. They addressed the wide receiver position in a solid way, getting two players. They didn't just go with Odell. They went with Zay Flowers, which was a necessity to get one of the big four wide receivers. So I 100% think Lamar's got a shot at proving some people wrong. And I love Zay Flowers. He's been on the Moon Man list as the only rookie wide receiver on the Moon Man list for a reason. So clearly I'm excited about him. We'll see what his volume looks like.
Well, he's a Boston College guy, and I like that. He's Boston College.
Hey, hold on 1 second. Hang tight, Denny. Just as quiet as you can. Just be like a hummingbird. Just sit there hovering, okay? Hang tight. Wild Bill. You're live, Wild Bill.
Hey, Smithy, what's going on, brother?
What's up, pal?
Hey, man, I've been I tell you what, your Moon Man list is freaking spot on, brother. I'm telling you right now.
Can we show it? Can we show it? Let's show it. Hold on. Here it is.
Dude, I'm telling you. I've been using this in best ball draft. And I think it's slightly getting out there now because just recently I've been getting sniped, man. And I'm telling you, no one's been sniping me up until like now. Oh, man. I'm telling you, the word's getting out. That Moon Man list is freaking balls out.
Hey, do you think that don't you think it's funny that a lot of the words that have been used, like especially months ago, where this looks like a stash list, this list doesn't look as strong as last year's, and that's the point of the Moon Man list. They're not obvious picks necessarily out the gate. These are ahead of the curve players, and now it looks so strong. You're right. But people were coming in here dropping, this looks lighter than last year, looks like a stash list. I don't like the Moon Man list as much this year, Smitty. It looks phenomenal. We have monsters all over the screen, and even Walker and Charbonnet, their values have changed, but they still remain on the list because Walker has a new type of value now. Walker's a 4th and 5th round pick. Charbonnet is a guy going later than that. You cuff them together, you have an RB1 at the cost of a 5th sometimes, because he goes in round 5, Walker sometimes. A 5th and a 7th round, 5th and an 8th round pick. That is unbelievable. Love Tony Pollard. Pickens is the weakest link wide receiver, and he could be a top 12 wide receiver. Like, this is, it's crazy. London.
Dude, but he don't laugh. He goes right off the shelf.
This is the guy.
I'm telling you, these people are going off the shelf.
This top row right here. This top row right here.
Whenever I get.
I'm a little. Hold on one second.
Go ahead.
I'm a little biased toward all these guys. So like I say this and then I want to dip down lower and talk about everybody. So I don't know if I can really say this with a straight face right now, but I would say this top row right here, Bijan, Wilson, Gibbs, Olave, Kincaid are like the row I'm super excited about. But then I see Watson and I'm like, okay, include Watson. Then I see London. I say include London. Then I see Breece Hall and I want to include Breece. Then I just end up going around the entire list going, never mind, the whole list is absolute fire.
Dude, you're so freaking absolutely. Dude, I love him. I did a best ball draft the other day, and literally, I did not. All of my running backs were rookies. I started with Bijan and just went down the list.
Why not?
Yeah, like, that's what I'm saying. And I'm like, yeah, but then you get to the end, and they want to give you like 2,300 predicted points. There's some, I was like, come on.
Oh, those prediction points suck. Don't even pay attention to them.
Yeah, I like when I'm in the 2,500 range. They don't value rookies or sleepers or breakouts, and I draft. My team is built around sleepers, breakouts. My team's built around Breece Hall and Kenneth Walker's from last year. Do you think that they gave Walker and Breece Hall any sort of solid projection walking? Who's mumbling in the background? Who's mumbling in the background?
Nah, that's me, dude. Breece Hall. Breece.
All right, hang tight there, Denny. Denny, hang tight. Hang tight, Denny. Do you think that Breece Hall and Kenneth Walker were given high projections last year? No, they weren't. Teams that had teams full of Dameon Pierce, Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker, Moon Men extraordinaires, those St. Brown, those teams were ranked so low on the projection. So look at it like a badge of honor. You're doing something right if they don't see you coming.
Right. Yep.
No,
I totally agree. Yep.
Well, the schedule's pretty cool. I mean, I love seeing it. I mean, we got the whole thing to look at. I'm not going to break down the whole thing. I mean, we could do a show on that, potentially, and just look at each week. But I don't know. I mean, this is a
week 17. The Steelers play Baltimore, so that's going to be a good game. We'll see. We'll see what we have of Lamar Jackson and how he hooks up with Flowers. That's yet to be seen. And to answer Tony's question, I think we could have a really knockdown, drag-out fight in the AFC North this year.
Just looking at Week 17, the championship week, you got the Bills at home against the Patriots. You got the Falcons away on the road against the Bears. I'm just trying to give some fantasy football implications here. The Jets are away at Chicago or at Cleveland. The Lions are on the road against the Cowboys. We've got let's see here. The last game of the year, the Packers at the Vikings. The afternoon slate is full of fantasy football players or implications here. You got the Bengals at the Chiefs in week 17. That's crazy. That could be, hopefully those teams are both in the mix there and that's just a high scoring affair. That could be great. You could have fantasy football championships decided in week 17 in the final second to last game of the week, the Packers game. So this is a good one to have Christian Watson. Watson could win you championships at Minnesota in week 17 as the final contest of the week 17 in fantasy football season. You've got Seattle in week 17 against the Steelers. So you got Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet going up against a tough run defense. So you got to factor that in. You got the Niners at the Washington Commanders, depending on and you know, some of this is dependent on what teams are in the playoffs, what teams have clinched. There's a lot of implications for that. The Eagles at home against the Cardinals. That's a cakewalk for Hurts and sadly, it's a cakewalk. You've got the Saints at the Bucks, Chargers at Broncos. I mean, it's a sweet week 17. There's not a whole lot of negatives. You know, Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet against Pittsburgh is tough. That's week 17.
Yeah.
But you know what? You got to get there. You know, you can't focus too much on week 17. You got to look at sometimes it's week 14 and week 15 and week 16 that matter more because you start planning for week 17 too much, you know, especially in redraft settings if we're not even talking best ball because there are some awesome best ball implications. We'll go over all that. But in terms of redraft, sometimes people focus on those later parts and they never get to the big dance. So week 15 is maybe a better, better week to look at and say that the Jets are at the Dolphins. That's a high-scoring affair. The Niners are at the Cardinals, so Christian McCaffrey should have a day if he's healthy and able. Debo as well. The Eagles at the Seahawks will be a fun battle. You've got the Jaguars and Ravens facing off. You've got the Chiefs at New England. You've got Bijan at Carolina. Smashes them to pieces. Does it again in week 14. Or week 15. What was that?
It was
Denny. And then we got the Bengals at home against the Vikings. We got Chicago on the road against the Browns. This is week 15. And then the Lions at home against the Broncos. So that'll be interesting. All right, boys, I'm going to cycle you off the line here and get going and come back for draft night. Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty. Use promo code Smitty. The link is in the description of the video. I'll drop the link in just a second and pin it. But in order to draft tonight, you got to be signed up and do that now. Link is in the description of the video. So code Smitty, the link enters it for you. We'll be drafting tonight, best ball drafts. I want you all to be a part of it. Hit that link now so you're prepared, signed in, and ready to go. Minimum $10 deposit. Underdog will match up to $100 in your first deposit. So if you drop 10, the minimum, they'll give you 10. You'll have $20 and you can do $4 or $5 puppy drafts. You drop 100, they give you 100.
Danny Dimes, watch out. Danny Dimes is in the house, boy. Watch out for the Giants this year.
Okay, what Denny said. Exactly what Denny said. Denny, any final thoughts, Denny, besides that?
Love you guys. I'm still alive. I love you guys.
All right.
Maybe you're in the house, but
Denny.
The man.
Appreciate you, Denny.
We the man.
We the man. We the man.
He's Denny.
All right, let's go over to Wild Bill. Wild Bill, final thoughts. And then I'll go to 617 caller.
No, that's about it. That's what I just wanted. Best ball's been great, man. I'm telling you, I've learned a lot, and I just follow all the and every time like there's you got like 7, 8, 9, 10 players. You're like, okay, I'm it's coming up. Be like, oh, they'll be like Smitty. Well, yeah, he said, you know, it's like, yep, boom. You know, it's like it's been great, man.
Appreciate you, Wild Bill. Call in tonight. We'll be live doing drafts later.
Thank you, brother.
Hey, Russian Collusion. I'm so sorry I missed this. Russian, are you still here, Russian? Smitty, great content as usual. Will you ever do drafts on the 7 p.m. show for all of us East Coasters? Not a lot, because I like to keep this a news show. I don't like to do that to my channel. I like to have some divide in that, because I don't want this channel to be all about drafts. That's just not, it's not even my passion to do the drafts. But I know you guys love it. I love it too, but I like to keep it at night. But I will do some like midday. We're talking about doing some midday stuff. So not often, not every day or anything, but like maybe once or twice a week, we might come on here during like noon. Noon or 2 p.m. Eastern, and do some sort of midday best ball draft. So, Russian, are you still here, bro? I'm sorry about not getting to the super chat until just now. Hopefully Russian Collusion's here. Russian Collusions he's my guy. To the moon, Russian. To the moon. Appreciate you. Also, we've got this board behind me, the $50 hauler board. This board, anybody that drops a $50 hauler, we had Aloha going nuts earlier on the show, the earlier show. $50 hauler, you put your receipt on the board. We come back, we reflect on it. We can reflect on it all year long too. Like when things are popping off, we're going to go to this board and be like, okay, who's on here? Read them off. Najee Gibbs, top 6 running backs. Matto to the moon. We're going to get over here and break down this board. But anybody drops a $50 hauler, we'll put your receipt on the board. The person has the best prediction voted by the chat at the end of the year gets to co-host the show with me via phone. You can dial in, or you can be on video if you want. Co-host the show with me for the biggest, most voted in top prediction. And then you also get a lifetime membership to thefantasyfootballshow.com. And on top of that, we'll get some other stuff going on. But yeah, so $50 haulers, anybody drops one, you can put your prediction on the board. Appreciate you all. Let's go to the 617 caller. 617 caller, you're live. Hello? 617, hello?
Hello?
What's up? You're live. Who's this?
Hey, Smitty, this is Caesar from Boston. Sorry, I was getting my daughter out of my car. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Caesar from Boston. What's up, Caesar?
Yeah, no, I was going to talk about your list, man. Every year it's the best. And in my league, you may call it a grandma league. I got some snipers in there, but I think I'm going to be able to get at least 50% of the list.
Attaboy. Attaboy. Yeah. Hey, I appreciate you. What's your favorite prediction on the bold prediction board?
On the bold prediction, I think it's going to be Bijan, man.
Attaboy. Attaboy. Smitty approved.
In my league, honestly, he might fall to the second. Or they might be one of those guys that are crafty and they might get him early, but I think they're going to try and let him drop.
Yeah. I appreciate you, man. Thanks for calling in. I'm sorry I'm jumping. Call tonight if you're around.
No worries.
Yeah, and
I might be around. Thank you, man.
You're
the man.
I appreciate you, Caesar. Appreciate you. Caesar from Boston. I want to say Caesar from Vegas, but Caesar from Boston. Okay. All right. Dakota Dave, you got the floor for about 30 seconds, then I got to jump. What can I do for you, Dakota?
Okay. You did the video on Saquon yesterday. I was wondering, his second half was a lot weaker than the first half. And I was wondering if you have any concern about that. He has the super high workload, of course. You've talked about with Chubb and Derrick Henry. I know he's only 26, but was curious what you thought about that.
I mean, I'm always concerned about running backs that get high volume. And he did have the ACL tear. He did struggle the first year back, but he did look great last year. And he's Saquon Barkley. He's just a physical specimen. And I'm not really concerned about the knee anymore. And I do believe he'll have a good year. I do also believe that offense will be a little bit more productive this year. Bringing Hyatt in was a great move. Bringing Waller in. So this team's going to move the football. And I think Saquon living near the end zone, even though Danny Dimes can vulture, this is going to be a good thing for Barkley, and Barkley could score a nice amount of touchdowns. It's a little bit higher than usual. So I'm all about Saquon in round 2. If I had to spend first-round value on him, I probably wouldn't be on board as much. But in round 2, I'm pretty eager to get him on a couple teams. Not put all my eggs in one basket. He's definitely not a all eggs in one basket guy. Like, I'd put all my eggs in Bijan's basket this year and let it ride. And if it crashes and burns, if he gets hurt because he's a rookie and things happen, so be it. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. I'm willing to put all my eggs in one basket for certain players. Olave, I feel the same way about. But Barkley's not that guy for me, but I do love him in round 2, to answer your question.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Just, be careful not to put him on a bunch of teams and just hope that, there is some, improvement in his entire season, game log. And I think there will be. Darren Waller is going to be really, really good for that offense. Overcome dropped a super chat. I remember being hyped with you 2 years ago about Najee and Antonio Gibson. Gibby dusted in the wind at this point. Yeah, he is dust in the wind. Gibby's definitely dust in the wind at this point. I have no faith in Gibby whatsoever. And he never was a guy that we should have counted on anyway. The prediction of his inability to be a full-time running back was in the stats and in the numbers, and it was all right in front of us. And we all, including me, including everybody, got too wrapped up on what if he's an outlier. The guy pulled in like some crazy. Let me pull it up just to have it on screen. It's crazy. When you see this, you're going to be like, what? Antonio Gibson college career stats. Wait till you see what I'm about to show you. Because I don't know if people remember this. The guy did almost nothing in college. And he came into the pros. And we all just bought into it. They might have seen something that even his college didn't see. Let's see here. Here are his stats. Dude ran the ball. This is unbelievable to be counted on as an elite running back, and this is what you come out of college with. So here's his college stats right here. This is Antonio Gibson. The proof was in the stats of what was going to happen. The story was being told and written for us. The guy had 38 receptions. He had 6 the year prior. 38 receptions at the college level. He ran the ball 33 times. He ran the ball 33 times at the college level. 33 times. That's it. And he came in as the starting running back for the Washington then Commanders or whatever the hell they were at that point. That is like, if the writing's not on the wall that he's not proven, he doesn't have the pedigree, he doesn't have the history of being a long-term workhorse running back. It was right in front of our face, and we all decided to ignore it because we thought Washington pulled off a miracle, found a gem. But one thing we need to make sure we never do again is count on a running back that carries the ball not enough times to be anywhere sort of proven at all. 33 rushing attempts in college is so crazy. What's going on in the background there? Is somebody like putting away silverware? Like, what is that? I'm not mad. I just want to know what it is. It's driving me nuts. Who is it?
It's the Isaac, and you're absolutely right. My bad. You
putting away silverware? First of all, kudos to you. Kudos to you. Getting on the wife's good list. The Isaac, what do you have to say, Isaac? You got a couple of seconds here. Let me give you 30 seconds, a minute, and then I got to get out of here. So go ahead, Isaac.
Cool, man. I called earlier, but I had to hang up, handle some stuff. But no, I want to say right now, you're talking about Antonio Gibson. It's so easy to get excited about somebody, and I think people are kind of relating that to Bijan. I called in earlier to talk about Bijan. He is the man. He is generational. So don't overlook Bijan. I put him at my number 3 running back as we were ranking earlier, JSN at 16. But I got a quick one. 10-team PPR. I got the second pick. It's a keeper league. I got Chase as my second pick keeper. Here's who's available. Eckler, JT, Tyreek Hill, Chubb, Stevenson, Henry, Lamb, Diggs, ETN.
Read that off one more time. And this is a keeper league or dynasty? What'd you say?
It's basically a keeper redraft.
Okay, how many do you keep?
All right, you keep 2, but I only kept 1.
Okay, who'd you keep?
I kept Chase in the second round.
Chase in the second round, and now your first pick is up. This is your first pick?
Yeah, my first pick is pick number 2. Unfortunately, I didn't land number 1. I'm going to try to trade for number 1 and take Bijan is the plan. But if that does not work out, here's my guys I can pick from.
Go.
Eckler, JT, Kelsey, Tyreek, Chubb, Henry, Lamb, Diggs, ETN, Adams. Kind of just going to end it there.
You already have Jamar Chase and it's keeper. I mean, we got to put Gibbs on here just, for good measure. I'm not necessarily saying that I would take him, but I wouldn't be afraid to take him. Chase and Gibbs would be
I think I can get him. I think I can get Gibbs in the 3rd. I've already run the numbers, because it is a 10-team PPR and everybody has 2 picks. I'm the only person that's only kept 1 player. And the way that's going to fall is I'm going to have the 2nd pick, then the 18th pick, technically. And I think I can get Gibbs or even Olave at that pick.
Oh, God, Olave, this keeper. You gotta give me Olave. That's the name you got to give me. Because I don't know who's been kept. So Olave's got to be on this list, too. I mean, quite honestly, if it's keeper, I almost even lean Olave over these other. Like, I'm just telling you, that's how much I love him. If you can come out with Jamar Chase, Gibbs, and Olave, that's fantastic too. So like reaching on one of those guys is not crazy. Hill, Kelsey are obviously good picks. This is keeper though.
Yep.
So there's a reason you would take Olave over a Hill, even though someone might say that's crazy. Not if there's keeper value here. Gibbs.
What about JT? I mean that would be my picks would be JT, even though I don't really want to go there. Tyreek. Obviously, Olave, Gibbs, which might be a little early. I think I can get him later. And that's about it, man. I don't. There's nobody else on the list that I'm interested in.
Yeah, Aloha.
That pick.
By the way, real quickly, Aloha said, "Yo, Smitty, I'm about to go pick up my tuxedo. I'll be back." That doesn't surprise me that Aloha's going to grab a tux at this, late hour in the evening. I think, Ron, what do you think here? Do you think? I know you're just getting into Dynasty, so you're probably gonna say defer. But what are you thinking here based on what you're seeing as a new Dynasty player? And you're seeing Gibbs go awfully high in these leagues because everyone snipes like crazy. But in a general league setting, if you were to walk into a brand new Dynasty league, knowing what you know now about Dynasty different than what you knew a month ago, are you looking for, as a Dynasty novice that's getting into it, loving it, experiencing it, are you looking at an Olave over Kelsey and Hill and Eckler and JT and Lamb and Diggs, or are you still saying, give me that now value? Diggs still has a few years. I'll take Diggs, keep him for another year and be fine with it. Or are you going Olave? Are you going Gibbs here? And what does the chat think? Go ahead, Ron.
That's a really good thing because in my the one I'm doing right now, the startup, I took Allen and my boy Najee, and I could have got the stack with Diggs, but I went Olave. And then I just now picked up Christian Watson as my second receiver.
Yeah, that's someone to look at later.
So that's my team right now. Crazy. But, yeah, I kind of faded the top guys because I'm going after the top sophomore receivers. And, so far, and I got some youth. So I kind of like the veteran receivers I passed on.
So I don't know. We'll see. The chat so far says maybe JT or Olave. So that would be your pecking order, essentially. JT and Lamb. I mean, honestly, I'm with the Aloha on this one. I think I want Olave and Gibbs, and I'm not scared to make Gibbs a second rounder in Dynasty or Keeper. I'm not. I don't think that's reaching. I think in redraft it is, but if we're talking Keeper or Dynasty, and you get to keep Jamar Chase and Gibbs, is there a limit on the amount of keepers? You got to give me all the information. Like, can you not keep them forever?
Right, Yes, correct. So you get 2 keepers a year, right? You get to pick 2, and you can only keep them for 1 year. So, for example, if I take JT this year,
That's
I can
important
keep him next year, and then he's out.
That's important information.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe at that point you're going Kelsey or Hill. Hill's got 2 years probably. So like even Hill or Diggs has 2 years easily. So be Diggs. Diggs and JT might be your craftiest safe route, and Kelsey and Diggs might be Kelsey and Diggs would be and you might not get one of those. You might get Gibbs or Olave with the second pick. But if you choose like Kelsey, let's say, that's not crazy in a format like this, and you could make Gibbs your second keeper. So Kelsey, almost you're bypassing using the second round pick on a keeper guy. Your third round pick is going to be your keeper guy because you can get Olave or Gibbs, and next year that's going to look fire. So you have Chase and Olave, keeping those 2 guys next year. So I don't think I'd worry too much about this second round pick. If it's a 1 year keeper, that's really almost I would say either go Kelsey or Hill or Diggs with the first pick, and they'll go Gibbs or Olave with that second pick. And then if you can get Watson with the next pick, that would be great. But yeah, you guys got to change that. You should make it like you keep them forever. Keep it like a partial dynasty. That's 1 year's weird.
Yeah.
But hey, teach your own.
I'm going to say that I'm leaning Hill, and I think we can trade picks, and I'm working on getting the number 1.
Yeah, try, bro.
Okay, because we've been I'm on so many trades. It's crazy. So you can trade down and then trade back up in, and I'm learning all that right now. I'm a novice, so
I feel like I can trade down to 9, get the snake, and take Olave at 9. Because I'm comfortable with Olave or Tyreek. The thing about Tyreek is, even if Tua goes down, which he will, I like Mike White a lot. So
hey, we haven't talked about Burrow. Where's Burrow?
Yeah, I've got Burrow. I think I can get him on the 4th pick, so I'm going to stick strong on that one.
If you
quarterbacks start going, they're going to go quick.
Burrow's available.
Yeah, don't balk on getting him as your third pick. Like if you feel like Ron said, if the flow feels like you're gonna miss it, then attack. But if Burrow's down below Fields, it depends on the pre-rank and all that, then you might be able to sneak it out. But don't be shy about going Chase, Burrow, and then like you could get JT. So Chase, JT, Burrow, and then maybe you're still going to get like a Watson or something. But if you do pull off Burrow in round 4, you're going to have an unbeatable team if you guys stay remotely healthy.
How's your guys' lineup? Is starting 3 wide receivers, 2 wide receivers, 2 running back? How is that format?
So, yes, one running back, 2 wide receiver, and a flex.
Oh, okay.
So technically right now, my 4th pick is actually the 32nd place. So that's why I feel like I can get Burrow.
Yeah,
but I
you probably
also
could.
have a pick. I have a pick in round 3 at 29 where I can sneak him, and maybe I'd get a Watson after that. So I could go, hypothetically, JT or Tyreek, then Chase is my 2nd, Burrow my 3rd, and maybe Watson at 32, or maybe if people are sleeping, I could grab Gibbs.
Yeah, if you get Gibbs and Burrow, and if you get Gibbs and Burrow, and you go, even if you went Kelsey, and then you obviously have Chase. So Chase, Kelsey, Burrow, Gibbs, straight fire.
Mm-hmm.
Chase, Tyreek Hill, or Chase, JT, Burrow, Gibbs. I mean, come on. Ridiculous. All right, hey, I got to get going. Isaac, appreciate you calling tonight, pal.
All right, brothers. See ya.
All right. Ron Navy, final thoughts.
What's that thing called when the sounds Isaac gave us? He was just doing the silverware for that special sound for that. What's that called? The L and what is it?
What's this called? The Burrow. The first, I forget what it's called.
The sound.
Yeah, I don't know.
Me too. I forgot what it is.
I don't know what it is. I hate it. But I could be the first ever fantasy football And SRM, what's it called? Something. JSRM? JSN? JSN!
ASMR sound. Yeah, that's what he was doing. He was giving us some
ASMR. I'm a Ross St. Brown. All right.
Anyway,
I'm out of here.
Yeah, I'm kind of stoked. We got an early bye, week 6, and Raj was on his IG. It was like maybe 5-6 days ago, talking about them wanting to play Philly in week 1, and I went in there and I said, Pittsburgh. I want to see Pittsburgh. I want to see opener with San Fran and Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
and I guess I got my wish.
I might go on IG.
Interested, he's gonna go. He's gonna be going on IG here soon.
Yeah,
so
no, he's on there now. I'm gonna jump. I'm gonna jump on IG right now. I think so. Catch me on IG, guys. If anybody doesn't follow me on Instagram, I'll probably go live right there, right now. So the Fantasy Football Show on Instagram. All right, Ron. Appreciate you.
I'm dropping.
Later.
Bye.
So, guys, go check me out on Instagram. I'll be live over there in a second. Again, anybody drops a $50 hauler, we go on the board. We put your receipt up there, and then we track it all year. The winning prediction is going to go ahead and, win a bunch of stuff. So, appreciate you. I'm going to go on Instagram right now. See you over there. Thank you all for the super chats. Thank you, Russian, for dropping that. Thank you for all the people that drop YouTube exclusive memberships. Thank you all. See you tonight. Underdog Fantasy. Link is in the description of the video. If you want to get into a draft tonight, click the link, Underdog Fantasy. It's at the top of the description of the video, and get ready tonight. See you later.
Get breached.
People are getting burrowed left and right, and people are going to remember it.
Get burrowed.